All right, everybody, welcome in. I'm WUSA3 Chief Meteorologist Kevin Lighty. We're tracking a little bit of severe weather out there tonight. We've got a few warnings that have popped up here, and you can see it here on the Storm Tracker Doppler. What we're going to do is zoom into these areas. It's southern portions of the Sangamon County area. We'll come right down in here. We're talking Macoupin, right on the Macoupin and Sangamon County line. This is a severe thunderstorm warning. It's going to be near Verdon and south of Auburn, where the strongest part of that cell is. West of I-55 right now, the strongest part. And this storm has the potential of 60-mile-an-hour winds. And there is what they call the tornado possible tag that is actually showing up with this. So again, we've got a severe thunderstorm warning here. This is just the beginning of what could be an active night of potentially a severe weather as storms come out of portions of Iowa and head into our neck of the woods. But this is kind of the first one that we are going to be keeping a very close eye on. This warning goes in until 9 o'clock here tonight. So for about 35 minutes or a little less than 35 minutes or so. And you can see here on the Storm Tracker Doppler where we've got, again, showers and storms that have developed. And you can see that once again, we're dealing with a little bit of severe weather. So let's kind of show you the wide view of things, because I want to kind of get your bearings. You can see there's nothing in Champaign, nothing Danville, Decatur, and Mattoon, and in Charleston, or Shelbyville. But here's our storm that we're keeping a close eye on. Yes, it is storming in Springfield itself. And we can actually take a look at the camera that we've got in Springfield. That part of the storm is not actually warned right now. So again, there's a look at Danville. But where that storm is in Springfield, well, it is raining there. But again, not any severe weather there. But definitely a lot of heavy rainfall. You're getting a lot of lightning. Again, that's the view in Springfield. But it's just south of town where the worst part of that storm is located. Okay, so the severe thunderstorm warning for southern Sangamon County. Let's zoom back in on the Storm Tracker Doppler radar and show you this a little closer and show you exactly where it's going. Now, what we're also watching for, the tornado possible tag is showing up because of a little bit of rotation that is within the storm here. Okay, and so that's what we're kind of looking at as well, is maybe this little bit of rotation. An area that I would really kind of be looking at would be this area right here. I would literally right on the county line, on the Sangamon Macoupin County line. That has my attention a little bit for the potential of maybe a little bit of rotation that could be associated there. You'll sometimes look for some of that little bit of a hook. But the other thing is, see that little purple color, this right here just west of Thayer? That's where you might have a little bit of hail, okay? That higher reflectivity that is coming in, that is the hail right there that could very well be coming through. So I know a lot of you are on here and maybe asking about, okay, what about my area? What about, we cover 350 different small to large cities, towns, and villages. We do a lot of areas to cover. So we always like to say, hey, if we're not mentioning your city yet, there's not an immediate danger or threat for you. There are more storms, I'll tell you, that are going to develop here later tonight. And that's what I'm going to get to, is kind of show you what that may look like with some of those storms that roll through later. But we want to first kind of focus in on our storm that we've got here. So you're talking right there along Highway 4 between Verdon and Thayer. That's a rough patch there. That's going to be where some of the worst of the weather is. You can see that's Thayer Road. And coming into Thayer right now, that is going to be a pretty good storm. But we're looking down the line towards the Divernon area. That is going to be heading in your direction, okay? Pawnee as well. So you can see that warning that is in effect. Let's kind of put a little bit of a loop on this. You can see the direction that it's moving, okay? And there it is. Here's the other thing. It's moving really, really slow. So slow that it is really dumping rainfall. The typical movement of a thunderstorm is between 30 and 40 miles an hour. This storm is moving at half of that speed, 15 miles per hour. Very slow moving storm. So what that tells us, a lot of rainfall is coming out of this over the same areas, okay? So flash flooding becomes a little bit of a threat there. It would be definitely a possibility that that area could pick up 2 to 3 inches of rainfall just from that little cell right there. Okay, so that's why we keep kind of saying, hey, these are going to be efficient rainfall makers. We could have 7 inches of rain by the time we hit the weekend, but it all depends upon if you are, lucky or unlucky enough to get one of these cells over your area. But this area right here, just getting dumped on. It's going to be south of Chatham, but Auburn, you're included in on that warning, but between Auburn and Verdon, that's going to be the worst of it there. As we mentioned, Highway 4 in Thayer. So right now over Thayer, that storm is probably dumping a little bit of hail. I don't know if we've got anybody that's watching our live streams here on our Facebook or what, but let us know where you're watching from here tonight. And so that'll give us an idea of where you're at. And I'm always curious to see, kind of who's watching and from where. So I'm just going to put this out there and kind of show you the storm path of where this eventually could be going. And you can see in the Vernon area in the next 10 minutes or so from the United Methodist Church, Pawnee. You can see Palmer. That's way down the line here in about an hour if it would stay on its path. So this is generally going off to the east. You can see, beyond that, you've got Taylorville and whatnot. Seeing a lot of you jumping in here, watching from Charleston, Arcola, Taylorville, watching from Watseka, Joe, Glenarm, Urbana, Rantoul. Question there, is it going to get bad in the Taylorville area? It's a good question. And that storm would be in line to be coming down your neck of the woods. So, yeah, we're going to be watching that and keeping an eye on that potential for severe weather into the Christian County area. But right now, the most immediate threat is going to be right here along the Macoupin and Sangamon County line, right over Thayer, between Auburn and Thayer, even west of Verdon there, because I'm just watching this little area right here has my attention to just be on the lookout for it. If there is some rotation within that. The Weather Service is continuing this warning until 9 p.m. still with what is known as the tornado possible tag. Okay, so we're just going to watch that. Let's see if we can see anything when we look at the velocity in this. It's our little area that allows us to see some spin possibly. And yeah, you got some of those reds, and what you're looking for is more of these reds and greens getting a little bit closer to one another. Still pretty broad rotation, very broad rotation in there. But, in a scan or two of the radar, things can change, and sometimes you can get a little brief spin-up tornado. So we'll be watching for that. Paxton, Mattoon, we got people watching from Tolono, Neoga, and Gibson City. Hipston to Mahomet. Thank all of you guys for jumping in here with us. Here's what I'm going to do, just kind of reset things a little bit here and let you know kind of what we've got going on. Severe thunderstorm warning is in effect right now. Storm is really impacting hard the Thayer area, as you can see, along Highway 4 west of I-55, but this is going to be passing between the Thomasville and Vernon area and getting to I-55 here in the next half an hour or so. But down Highway 4, Auburn to Thayer to Verdon, that is a tough stretch of road to be on, and where the most severe part of that storm is, and in an area where we're just kind of watching right there along the county line of where that is. There's Pawnee. You're down the line still a little bit, and you're actually probably going to be on the north side of this. This thing is kind of wanting to make a little bit of a turn here, about where it's kind of hugging that county line here right now. I will tell you this, we are expecting more storms to move in here later tonight, okay? There are more storms, and I'm just going to back this out. Let me switch on my, my other radar, and what I'm going to show you is what things look like a little bit more to the north and west, and why we're going to be watching this. Look at all this activity out into Missouri and into Iowa. Severe thunderstorm warnings all along this area. This is going to push in here very, very late tonight. And that'll be kind of the next round that we're going to be watching for. We're going to see what happens with the stuff coming out of Iowa. And that will be our next little round of potential severe weather that could be impacting us. But right now, I mean, that's, that storm there. And then this one that's up here near Springfield, we're going to watch it. Clear Lake and the Riverton area, I mean, that's a pretty good little storm over you. Currently not warned, but that thing is definitely bringing a lot of heavy rainfall there. And let's go and see if we can't bring back our camera that is in Springfield. And there is our Flooring America camera, and you can see the dark skies that we've got. there over the city as the storm has moved through, and still dropping some of that. Very heavy rainfall, a lot of lightning. And that's the thing with the lightning that we've been monitoring. These storms have definitely had plenty of that. And what I can do next is switch on the lightning strikes for you, and we can zoom into who's got the lightning and who doesn't. And it's very easy to tell when you come in, okay, who's got the storms? Well, look at all of those lightning strikes. I mean, that Auburn area, I mean, goodness, just nonstop lightning there, Verdon and the Auburn area. Those are lightning strikes in the past 15 minutes, okay? Lightning strikes just in the past 15 minutes. Here are lightning strikes in the past 10 minutes. So you get a little bit better idea of the more focused area. We can go even more. Just in the past 5 minutes, look at all of that lightning. What I'll do is actually, I want to take a look and see how many lightning strikes have we seen here. And I can draw a little circle around these. And you're talking about, just in the past 5 minutes, 93 lightning strikes in that area. That is more than one a second. So you're getting 1.5 lightning strikes there a second. Okay, so that's quite a few. Things are really lighting up down there. If anybody is watching, I'd be really curious. Okay, are you down there in Verdon? Are you down there in Auburn? Are you down in that area? I would love to know if anybody is watching on the stream. You know somebody that lives down there. Be curious as to what you're seeing. I can venture a pretty good guess and say that thunder is loud, that lightning is flashing bright, and that rain is coming down. You probably got a little bit of hail down there. But if anybody is down there, let me know, because I'd love to kind of hear what you guys are seeing. So the lightning strikes are just all over the place with this storm, and really packing a punch. So I'm going to shut the lightning off now because it kind of covers up what the storm looks like, and go back in. So there again, man, that area on Highway 4 over Thayer, I mean, they're just getting, I guarantee you there's going to be flooding there. There's going to be urban street flooding there big time. That is, an area that is just getting absolutely pounded with heavy, heavy rainfall and probably a little bit of hail in there. And I will not be surprised if some of the hail in the Thayer area right now is of golf ball size. I according to radar, that potentially is golf ball size hail. Okay, that's some big time stuff. That's literally just kind of sitting over that area there. Let's take a look. Let's do the hail size and see if we can turn that on. And so it's just getting ready to update. Yeah, so there it is. So between Thayer and Verdon there, and when we look at it, let's just see what the radar is trying to say. Yeah, hail size. It's trying to say maybe 2 inches. That's a little bit bigger than golf balls. That could be some very, very large hail there. So I'll be monitoring the chat here because I'll be curious to hear from anybody that maybe is down in that area that might be able to pass along what they're seeing. Lots and lots of heavy rainfall into southern Sangamon County and possibly some hail there as well. So here's the wide view, okay? People keep going, show me the wide view, show me the wide view. So here's the big view here that you see. And you can see there's nothing else in Champaign. There's nothing in Danville. There's nothing in a lot of other locations. The only areas that we're really watching, we've got a little storm up here. It's along I-72, west of Mechanicsburg, over there towards Riverton, Clear Lake, on the east side of Springfield. And then we come down even more south of Chatham. And then we get down to the Thayer area where that hail core is just sitting over that area there. Again, the tornado possible tag associated with that, you're talking about hail maybe up to the size of golf balls is definitely a possibility. We'll be hearing, hopefully something from that area about some reports, but just by looking at the radar, from what I can tell, those are some very large hailstones there, and you can see its movement as well. What I'll do is I'll put the loop on this. Here comes the radar loop, and it will show you where it's gone over the past 30 minutes. So you can kind of get an idea of where it's going. First off, it's not moving a whole lot. So it's just bringing an incredible amount of rain over that area of southern Sangamon County and northern Macoupin County. So they're moving off here to the east, okay, very slowly at about 15 miles an hour. So yeah, eventually, I guess Divernon, you're going to be the next, kind of major city there in line. But Thomasville in northeast of Verdun there, then over to Pawnee. You'll be watching that. Glenarm, you're kind of on the north side, okay? You're not going to see a whole lot from this. You're going to get some good rainfall as well, but the severe part and the hail is going to be there between Auburn and the Thayer area. Getting a little bit of an update there on the radar, now putting it kind of on the southeast side of Thayer, and now crossed over Highway 4 where that hail core is located. So we've got our storms here that have developed, okay, but this is just the beginning. We think additional storms coming out of Iowa. You can see other little cells that are maybe trying to develop out here northeast of Quincy, and these are going to develop, and we're going to get things starting to rock a little bit more. So let me try to pull up here. If you can just bear with me for a second, what I'm going to do is I'm going to load up some other graphics and I'll show you guys a model view that is how things are going to kind of transpire for the rest of the night. It's just going to give me a second to load that up, and I should be able to kind of show that to you guys here in just a moment. But here's the thing. Right now, the biggest threat, southern Sangamon County. You're looking at the storm there. South of Springfield, the worst of it. And these storms will become more numerous and become more widespread as we get into late tonight. So as I load up my graphics here, that will show us the latest projection of how this will go. It's going to be our future radar here, and here it comes. So it's got that storm right now. Look at that storm over there near Springfield, okay? So it's got that little guy that's there, and that'll continue to kind of move off to the east. But what we're watching for are the storms that are coming out of Iowa. You can see there it is, okay? And getting to I-55 here late tonight. Pretty strong little line, Jacksonville to Springfield, Lincoln and Bloomington. Taylorville late tonight. It could be a very kind of late night event for all of this activity here. So it could be very, very into early tomorrow morning before a lot of this gets here. But there's just kind of an idea. Now this could be off by a few hours. Wouldn't be surprised. It depends on if these storms can kind of speed up at all. They are moving pretty slow right now, but if they speed up at all, there's definitely that possibility that these could get here a little bit quicker. Okay, but that is a look at the future track radar as the storms begin to move in late tonight and just bring a lot of heavy rainfall. More than anything, that rain is going to be plentiful. The Storm Prediction Center outlook, you can see that yellow is the severe weather risk, the Storm Prediction Center risk that you've got. You're going to have that slight risk, and you can see how it kind of wanes. You get more to the green color, Champaign eastward. So I think that the severe weather threat is lower for places like Champaign and Danville and Mattoon and Effingham and Paris. It's definitely higher for Lincoln and Springfield and Jacksonville. Okay, so that's just something to kind of keep in mind. We just have to kind of wait and see if these storms can sustain themselves, stay strong, or whether they are going to weaken or not. Here is another view as we zoom back in on the storm of concern, right on the Macoupin and the Sangamon County line. They have extended the severe thunderstorm warning in Montgomery County here because they still think that there is that. And there's also the tornado possible tag. You see that on there? The tornado possible tag. That's right there. It's on the warning. Not all severe thunderstorm warnings have the tornado possible tag. Some of them do. But because there's a little bit of that broad rotation there, there is that concern for that to be the case. Now, I'm not seeing any super strong signs of rotation. Well, actually, there's a little bit in there. Yeah, let's look at this here. We're going to go ahead and clear off our warnings, and we're going to switch back to our velocity. And here's what they're looking at, okay? Once again, it's not a ton, but there is some of that red, okay, right there near Verdun. Let's just switch back between that and the reflectivity. So that little kink, okay, see this little kink that's right here? This is where you might have some rotation, okay? So that's going to be over Verdun right now. You guys just had the hail. Now, I would not, kind of let your guard down just yet because there's rotation that's right there, and that shows up when we look at the velocity, okay? The reds and the greens kind of right next to one another. So we're looking at that. We're monitoring that carefully. Right on Highway 4 right now. Again, not a tornado warning, but it is a severe thunderstorm warning with a tornado possible tag associated with it. So that is why they've issued and put that little extra wording onto the warning there, because of that little rotation that is showing up. Severe thunderstorm warning continues until 9 p.m. Tornado possible, 60-mile-an-hour winds, 1-inch size hail. 8:46, coming in here at 8:46 p.m. in 2 seconds. And there it is. We're going to be getting ready for the 9 o'clock newscast here coming up here in just a little bit. So I will be pausing things here on the live stream coming up in just a little bit to get ready for the 9 o'clock newscast. Now that is on WCIX. It's X49. You can catch that there. It's just 49. If a lot of the direct TVA, I know it's 49. If you've got over the air an antenna 3-2, we'll get you there. Another cable company as well. So we've got our 9 o'clock newscast. Will be on, of course, 10 o'clock tonight as well. And then we're going to be talking more about that next wave that's going to move in. This little cell here is not kind of the main show. We think that the main show gets in here late tonight with the stuff I was showing you out in Iowa. It's going to push in here late tonight. But we are definitely going to carefully monitor our storm here that is near Verdon and moving off to the east, okay? And so technically, the hail part of the storm, I think, is in Sangamon County. Let me switch back here. I'll come back to the reflectivity. So you've got, well, it's kind of right on the line there. And then you've got maybe the rotating part of the storm down here into Montgomery County. And Macoupin County, I should say. So in the Montgomery-Macoupin County area, and then your hail kind of right there on the county line, and it's slowly moving off to the east at about 15 miles an hour, a very slow-moving storm. The wider view of this, as we put the loop on it, and I'm just going to do the last hour, because you can see that there's not a lot. But I will say this, look how this storm kind of blew up a little bit more. We talked about it on the northeast side of Springfield, now along I-72. So Decatur, you're probably going to start to see those skies darkening up a little bit more. And that storm going to be coming in. Currently not severe warned. This one definitely looking stronger here south of Auburn and over Verdon, and eventually going to be heading into Christian County. So we'll see if the Weather Service carries this warning. So you had the Montgomery-Macoupin County warnings here. The next county that would get warned next is going to be Christian County. And if that would stay on its path, you're talking about, between Pawnee and south of Kincaid, and then eventually possibly towards the Taylorville area and Morrisonville. We'd be on the lookout there towards the Bear Creek. So those areas will be the ones of highest concern coming our way here in just the next kind of half an hour or so. All right, so I'm going to kind of wrap things up here as we get ready for the 9 o'clock newscast. I really hope you guys can join us on there as we get new information coming into us about those warnings. If we get some other warnings or start getting some more numerous warnings in the middle of the newscast, I'll try to pop back on and get this thing going again. But we'll be broadcasting live on here again later tonight if any more warnings get issued, and keeping people up to date on all these storms as they move in. Again, here's kind of the wider view of things. And we're going to watch these storms coming out of Iowa, these little storms that are trying to develop here right now, and see how the rest of the overnight period goes. But I still think there's definitely that possibility for severe weather to ramp up here for us tonight. At least a lot of the models have been showing that. I want to thank all of you guys for joining me here this afternoon, or I should now say this evening. We're approaching 9 o'clock, but thank you for joining us here as we bring you coverage of severe weather moving through parts of central Illinois. As I mentioned, I'm getting ready to go do the TV thing, so we're going to be ending the live feed here, but we'll be back on, and especially if there's any tornado warnings, of course, we'll cut into TV if that's the case as well. But if you're down here into Montgomery, Macoupin counties, eventually Christian County, be on the lookout. And for much of central Illinois, especially near I-55, between I-55 and I-57 here as we get into later on tonight. Okay, guys, stay safe out there. We'll continue to keep you up to date on additional warnings that get issued, and have more at 9 o'clock and, of course, at 10 p.m. on WCIA. Thanks a lot, guys, and we will see you soon.